Hi everyone, this is Matt. Welcome back to my channel. I'm surrounded by lots of boxes because I'm moving houses, but I really want to quickly show you which AI tools I would use to extract data, to extract information from papers, depending on the use. Because some AI tools I would definitely use to get information out of a single paper or two papers in a lot of detail. And if I had half an hour for this, I would use these. And if I was going to get a very high level overview from 20 papers in 2-3 minutes, I would use something else. And then finally, I would use very different set of AI tools if I was going to get lots and lots of information out of 20 papers in an hour or two, right? So it really depends on the use, and all the tools I'm going to talk about, I'm going to mention in the description down below. And also I already did tutorials for them, so I will include the links to the tutorials in the description down below, so you can easily find them and you can easily learn a little bit more if you're interested. So first of all, you probably would start with something like Research Rabbit, where you just get lots and lots of papers, right? And then you want to learn a little bit more from these papers. And if you're just interested in a single paper, then I would start with ChatPDF. Why? Because ChatPDF allows you to write your own questions. Okay, so you can summarize, you can ask about the methods, the discussion, future implications, and so on. But also, ChatPDF will give you some suggested questions. Once you ask your question, it will give you a couple of follow-up questions. So that's really nice. However, the caveat of this is that ChatPDF will only allow you to upload 2 PDFs in 24 hours, and each PDF can be up to 120 pages long. So, this is somewhat limiting. However, to get around this, what I would suggest to you is to use something like PDF Gear. PDF Gear is great because it is for free and it will allow you to read, edit, convert, merge, split PDFs. So essentially what it means is that if you have lots of papers that you want to read, you could combine them with PDF Gear into a single PDF, or you could extract pages from PDFs and then combine these pages together to create this one long, up to 120 pages long PDF. So this is the beauty of it, and this is how you can get around the problem of ChatPDF. Another really useful tool, if you're just working with one paper, is Kahubi Avidnote. Okay, now Kahubi Avidnote will allow you to ask your own question here if you want to do that, but also it gives you suggested questions. So you have questions for inserted text, generic document questions, so research question, limitations, implications, results, lots of stuff, but also specific document questions. So how was the RNA resuspended? There are lots of really good questions here, and it is definitely worth checking Kahubi Avidnote, but the problem is it will only allow you to create outputs up to 5,000 words. So 5,000 words might seem like a lot, but you will really quickly run out of it. So I would say use Kahubi Avidnote to get a lot of information, but only from 1 or 2 papers from time to time. The papers that you really want to know more about, learn about. So another tool that is useful to mention here is OpenRead. So the way OpenRead is that you upload a paper, okay, and then you have these options here. So basic information, paper espresso, QA notes, and for example, I'll quick paper espresso. And now it just created basically a very thorough summary of the whole paper. So yes, there's background and contents, methods, results, findings, discussions, structure and flow, achievements, significance, limitations. So a lot of information here, a lot of very useful information. But the problem with OpenRead is you can only use it up to 5 times. So you can use these actions up to 5 times in a month. So in reality, you can only summarize 5 papers in a month. So it's really good, but for one at a time use on the free plan. And then, so for example, you want to work with multiple papers. You want to summarize lots and lots of papers at once. So you can upload them all to SciSpace. SciSpace is really good for this. And then it will give you a very high level overview of all of these papers at once, okay? So I have the methods, the limitations, contributions for each of these papers. But I can add columns, and I can have TLDR, conclusions, summarized abstract. And literally within minutes, you can have all of this information for 20 papers or so. So it is really, really good. However, if you wanted to get a lot of information from all of these papers, then what would you use? You could use Explainpaper. So I uploaded the paper here. You can upload as many papers as you want to Explainpaper. And the way it works is that you highlight the text here, and it is going to explain it to you on this side, okay? And then it will give you some related resources to read as well. So you can't ask any questions with this software, but the beauty of it is you can basically do as many highlights as you want, and it will explain the sections for you, and in this way you will learn, you will understand what the paper is about. If you still want to ask specific questions, then I would suggest using Powerdrill. So Powerdrill will allow you to ask 100 questions a month, but you can upload the paper. So this is here the paper that I uploaded, and you can ask your questions, and this is the holy grail of all the questions. Summarize this paper. And it created a very good summary of that paper. And, this goes along with the abstract that comes with the paper. So it's really good to know. I asked a few more questions about the methods, about the introduction, and it gives you really nice answers. But the beauty of it is it gives you a source. So the paper, and then which page it came from. Page number 1, page number 12. So again, really, really useful tool. And to summarize everything I told you today, if you want to summarize, extract data from a single paper, and you have an hour for this, ChatPDF or Avidnote or OpenRead are really good for this, to quickly get a lot of information out of a single paper. If you wanted to get an overview from lots of papers in few minutes, SciSpace is your friend. And then finally, if you want to get lots of information from lots of papers, right, and you have a few hours for this, then Explainpaper is your friend, and also Powerdrill is your friend. So this is it for today. I hope you found it useful, and if you did, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.